Hi there. I'm Jennifer Kretschmer, your local architect and expert at getting homeowners their custom dream homes. If you are building or renovating, then taking action on what you learn on this short training video will be one of the most valuable things you can do for years. That is a big statement, but I can say that because it will help you avoid the number one most costly mistake people make when doing a building project. Have you ever heard of the term on time and on budget? If not, this concept is an important one. On time and on budget is a term used in all big projects. From construction to IT to building roads, all projects are trying to meet their target. The term on time and on budget refers to completing a project within the planned time frame and within the planned budget. Many times this does not happen, and for your project, this is bad news. There are many reasons projects might not come in on time and on budget, but by far the number one reason is lack of planning in the early phases. So here's the thing. At some point during your new home or renovation, you're going to discover a way to make your new home or renovation better. That's a given. It always happens. It could be a design change. It could be a window or door in a better place. It could be the layout of a room. It might be a design that saves you money or dramatically improves the livability of the spaces. But sooner or later, you're going to want to make a change. And when shortcuts are taken early on and people rush into the design phase, then people do not discover all the options they had or what they really wanted until the concrete has already been poured. Without getting a full feasibility study conducted before jumping into their project and before the builder gets on site, homeowners regularly shortchange their design. Late discovery of your real needs or options can leave you crying, "If I had only known." That is why we created the feasibility study. There are 5 phases during a project when changes can be made. The first, the feasibility study, then concept design, building documentation, later bidding and negotiation, and finally the construction phase. Now, if you discover better options early, then you can make the changes effortlessly. Make your discoveries late, and you pay exponentially more, or worse, live in a house where you settled for a lesser option or a lesser design. This little list is an indication of how cost changes grow over later parts of the project phases. As you can see at the beginning, doing a feasibility study, costs are very inexpensive. But as we move through the phases of the project, costs can be up to 50 times more if handled during the construction phase. And that doesn't begin to address project time delays. As they say, a picture tells 1,000 words. With a feasibility study, you should not have to utter those tragic words, "If I had only known." Take a look at this graph. Time is on the bottom, on the x-axis. As time progresses, the opportunity to make changes decrease. This is common sense. It's a lot easier to change the location of concrete footings before they have been placed in the ground. Now let's look for a second time at the graph that represents the relative cost to make a change. So as time progresses, changes get increasingly more expensive. The best time to make a change is at the beginning of a project. This is why a thorough feasibility study should be your first step. As Abraham Lincoln said, "If I had 9 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 6 sharpening my axe." Abraham Lincoln understood that proper preparation early on can save a lot of time and effort in the long run. Or put it into common construction terms, measure twice and cut once. When we overlay the two charts, you can see that at the beginning of a project, the opportunity for change is greatest, and the cost to make changes is least. It is at this point in the process that we want to thoroughly explore all of our options. This is why a proper feasibility study saves time and money. You may be asking, feasibility study? Why do I need one? Well, here's a quick test to find out. Please take out a pen and paper, and I want you to give yourself a score for each of the following questions. Question number 1. How clear are you on exactly what you need? How clear are you on exactly what you need? How clear are you on all the options your site will accommodate? How confident are you that you are aware of all the legal requirements? If you're not confident at all, it would be 0, and completely confident, 10. How aware are you of the process you will need to have in place to get your project completed on time and on budget? How confident are you that your budget will achieve your needs? 0 is not at all, and completely is 10. Now, I don't want you to worry about being able to answer these questions yet. The feasibility study will allow us to fill in the gaps and get you ready to move to the design phase. The first step you will need to complete is the feasibility study. We designed this process a few years ago because we saw a huge issue in the construction industry of how people were starting design and construction before they had fully done their research and homework. We would see many building projects going over time and over budget. The consequences of inadequate upfront research of needs and options is like building a house on bad foundations. The foundations are the most important part of the whole house because everything is built on top. It is very expensive to change the foundations once you have started to build on top of them. But it's very easy to change them if they are simply lines on a plan. And this is what makes us different. We spend more time on the research than most other firms who rush their clients into the design phase. We take a different approach. In fact, we will only work with clients who are prepared to do the feasibility study properly. We will not rush this step. It only causes cost overruns later if we take shortcuts and don't establish solid foundations. The feasibility study is the most important step because it lays the foundation for a successful project. Once complete, the valuable insights you gain from this first phase can be used by us or by any other architect and will ultimately produce a better result for you. So you may ask yourself, can I skip this step? Can I save money by not paying for a feasibility study? Well, sure, you can skip this step or meet with someone who gives you a few ideas for free before rushing you into the design phase. But not investing the time in a full feasibility study in depth can be the most expensive decision you make during your project. The most cost-effective time to discover all your options is now. I'd like you to book a feasibility study with us. And so if you're ready, book your feasibility session by completing the form below. Someone will contact you shortly to schedule a suitable time. Thank you so much for watching this brief training video. We look forward to working with you soon. Complete the form below to book your feasibility study.